WUMS, University Oxford.
To the other side. This is DJ Mike Kistler, and you're listening to Rebel Radio 92.1. Specifically, my show will take me to the other side every Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Time. Today, I have a little bit of a garagey, DIY indie kind of rock show today. I usually keep it very varied, but I think I'm gonna try and keep things a little more specific to have a better theme going on. But anyway, so the first track I have for you guys today is one of my favorite bands ever from England, called The Television Personalities. And this is a song that they released all the way back in 1976 or 7, I believe, and it's called 14th Floor. 14th Floor by The Television Personalities.
I'm looking down on London, but there's little I can see, 'cause I'm living so high up, and it looks so small to me. And I'm feeling so frustrated, 'cause the list out once more. And when I get on from work tonight, I gotta climb 40 floors. I say, hey, 40 floors. Oh no, my face don't fit. 40 floors, just another on a cancel list. 40 floors, oh no, there's nothing to do. 40 floors, gotta move, and that's what I gotta do. I've lived here for 7 years now, and I don't know anyone. I think the bloke next door is a Jamaican, but he could be an Irishman. And life's no fun in a tower block when you're locked behind your door. I think I must have had enough of living on a 14th floor. I'll tell you, mate, 14th floor, oh no, my face don't fit. 14th floor, no, on the council list. 14th floor, no, there's nothing to do. 14th floor, got a roof, it hasn't got a view. 14th floor, no, I really gotta go. 14th floor, no, have you listened to the show? 14th floor, oh no, my face don't fit. 14th floor, on a cancel list.
And that was 14th Floor by The Television Personalities. Lead singer Dan Tracy supposedly wrote the song about being bored and isolated, living on the 14th floor in a council flat in London, England. However, later it was found out he actually lived on the 7th floor, but I suppose 14th just sounded better on a record. But that was their first record they ever put out. Originally released as Teen 78, later re-released as Television Personalities. The next track I have for you guys is going back in time a little bit more. This goes back to 1965. This is another one of my favorite garagey DIY bands, whatever have you, led by the almost ambivalent figure of Sky Saxon, a very influential figure in garage rock music history. But this is a band called The Seeds, with, I believe it was one of the first singles they put out. It's called Can't Seem to Make You Mine.
all of you tonight. I can't seem to make you mine. I can't seem to make you mine. I can't seem to make you mine. I can't seem to make you mine.
And that was I Can't Seem to Make You Mine by The Seeds. They were a band from, I believe, Los Angeles back in the 60s. One of my favorite groups. I think I've played them on the show maybe one or two times before. But we're going to keep in the same vein of the 1960s. This is, I think, a year or two late. Well, it was recorded a year later in 66. Wasn't released until about 67. But this is probably one of the most iconic underground rock and roll bands of all time. It's the Velvet Underground, a band from New York, infamous for many different expletive songs, the title of their band name, the support, overwhelming support from people like Andy Warhol, etc., etc., etc. I could go on and on and on. But this is a track from their debut record, which, if you don't know what that is, if you've seen that album cover with just a banana on it, it just says Andy Warhol, this is the record it comes off of. This is a song called Femme Fatale by the Velvet Underground.
Here she comes. You better watch your step. She's gone to break your heart in two. It's true. It's not hard to realize. Just look into her false-colored eyes. She'll build you up to just put you down. What a clown, 'cause everybody knows the things she does to please. She's just a little tease. See the way she walks, hear the way she talks. You're written in her book. You're number 37, have a look. She's gone to smile to make you frown. What a clown. Little boy, she's from the street. Before you start, you're already beat. She's gone to play you for a fool. Yes, it's true, 'cause everybody knows the things she does to please. She's just a little tease. See the way she walks, hear the way she talks. 'Cause everybody knows the things she does to please. She's just a little tease. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
And that was Femme Fatale by the Velvet Underground. For any artsy, smartsy people that may be listening, don't worry, I am one of them as well. That song was actually written by Lou Reed about Edie Sedgwick, a pretty iconic figure of art pop fashion in the 1960s and things like that. Unfortunate drug casualty. But that's what the track's about. The next... Well, before I go into the next few tracks, I'd also like to say, anyone tuning in right now, this is DJ Mike with the show Take Me to the Other Side, show about underground music. Make sure to come back every Thursday at 3 p.m. if you like what you've been hearing. Also, make sure to follow Rebel Radio for any other additional programs that may interest you on Instagram and other things like that. 92.1. Anyway, so the next track I have for you guys is really interesting. I believe it was recorded in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a band from Detroit, Michigan called the Gories. And they were actually brought over to Memphis by, I believe, Alex Chilton and recorded at Easley McCain Studios, which is, and Alex Chilton is a very prominent member of the Box Tops, who had a very big hit called The Letter in the 60s, and was later in Big Star, which is more famous now than they were when they actually existed. But this is a track by the Gories called There Before the Grace of God Go I. And that was the Gories from Detroit, Michigan, recording of There Before the Grace of God Go I. I do believe that was recorded in Memphis. If it wasn't, my apologies. But I know that I'm 99% sure it was that. It was either that album or the one that came after that was recorded in Memphis. But the reason I did choose that, though, well, because there is actually a bit of Mid-South history there. So the band, well, first off, the band was formed, and they named themselves after an episode of Gidget, where basically to retaliate against the adults. It's a show from the 60s, follows like some kids or something. Anyway, they like form a band, they call it the Gories, and they thought that was a funny name, so they stuck with that. The drummer, Peggy O'Neill, who plays very simplistic drums, she relocated. After she quit that band, she relocated to Memphis and joined another band. I forget the name. I should have written it down. But they had a really great record. I may play some stuff off of that next week. And then more interesting for me personally is the lead singer on that track, Mick Collins. Had a very awesome band after the Gories called the Dirt Bombs, and they recorded a lot in Memphis and played a lot in Memphis, Tennessee. This is a cover they did of a Sly Stone song called Underdog, and me and my roommate were talking about how much like we really like this cover. But yeah, this is Underdog by the Dirt Bombs.
I know it feels to expect to get a best shape, but they won't let you forget that you're the underdog and you got to be twice as good. Yeah, yeah. Even if you're never right, then get uptight if you get too bright, cause you might be thinking too much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know it feels when you know for real that every other time you get a raw deal. Yeah, I'm the underdog. I'm the underdog. Cause I'm the underdog. Say I'm the underdog. Hey! I know how it feels to get demoted when it comes time to get promoted, cause you might be moving up too fast. Yeah, yeah. If you ever love somebody of a different set, and the set wouldn't let you forget that it just don't go like that. Yeah, yeah. I know how it feels, people to stop, turn around and stare, signify a little bit, and low rate me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't mind. I know how it feels to be playing along, to be at the party, but you're really all alone, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I know how it feels when you're feeling down, and you wanna come up, but you realize you're in the wrong part of town, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I know how it feels to have to go along with people you don't even know, simply because there happens to be a whole lot more than, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm the underdog. I'm the underdog. Cause I can handle it. It's gonna be alright. I'm the
Underdog by the Dirt Bombs. We are now at the halfway point of the show, which means, like always, it's time for some words from our sponsors.
Give them what they really want. The gift of blockbuster movies with gift cards from Malco Theaters. Malco gift cards and our new gourmet popcorn are the perfect gifts for making memories all year long. Shop online at malco.com or in the app. Gift your memories today at malco.com.
The Daily Mississippian distributes thousands of its papers across the Ole Miss campus, Oxford, and beyond. The DM newsletter reaches over 27,000 subscribers each and every week. The website, easily over 1 million impressions regularly. If you want Ole Miss and Oxford to know about your business, advertise in the Daily Mississippian. Call 662-259-6081 to ask about our print, online, and newsletter advertising packages. That's 662-259-6081. Or email dmads@olemiss.edu.
All right, and so yeah, as I was saying, I do really like both those bands, the Gories and the Dirt Bombs, both led by Mick Collins. I want to say he lived in Memphis for a while too, but anyway, he lived in Detroit, so that was a pretty cool thing. Met Alex Chilton and all that stuff. Here's another connection to Alex Chilton in Memphis. This is a band called The Cramps. They, too, like the Gories, were brought down to Memphis to record at the infamous Easley McCain recording studio. And this is a track called Garbage Man by The Cramps. That was the Cramps with their track Garbage Man. Keeping it with the rockabilly kind of tinge we have going on. This is a real deal type of track from the 50s. This is called She's the One That's Got It by Alan Page.
Well, she's the one that's got it. Yeah, she's the one that's got it. Yeah, 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 she's the one that's got it. I said that she's the one that's got it. Well, she's the one that's got it. You know, she got tight little bushes, and when she puts them on, she's the one that got it. Can't leave her alone. I said I could just go crazy. Well, when I have my baby, yeah, I could just go crazy. You know, crazy. friends about her, and everyone says she's the one that's got it. And all of that jazz, well, I could just go crazy. Yeah, when I'm around my baby. Yeah, I could just go crazy. You know, crazy.
That was Alan Page with She's the One That's Got It, a single cut in Memphis, Tennessee in 1958. If you're just now tuning in, this is DJ Mike with Take Me to the Other Side, show about underground music, happily presented by Rebel Radio, 92.1 WUMS. So, before I move on, I'd just like to say, yeah, I've just been in a bit of a rockabilly kick recently, I guess, or psychobilly, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, I think there's a really good wealth of history and stuff, especially in the South, where it originated from. And even though the Cramps are from New York or whatever, but a lot of it kind of centers around Memphis, and I think that's a really cool kind of thing. But anyway, we're going to go all the way to England now. Back in time again. Well, actually, we're going forward in time from this one, but just a few years. We're going to 1965. This is a track by a band who is huge and do get played on the radio, but you don't hear these tracks from them. They originally started out as a novelty group, I guess you could say, of the modernist movement that was popular at the time in England, and later turned into a hard rock giant. But this is a band called The Who, with a track off their first record called My Generation, and this track's called The Good's Gone.
Your love is rough. The good's gone.
And that was The Good's Gone by The Who. I want to take a second. It's like that the album My Generation, I think, did change my life quite a bit profoundly. It made me want to be a musician and things like that. And I also remember in high school, because like the modernist movement has been kind of detailed a lot, because it's a very photogenic movement. It's all about style and everything, you know. So you have people dressed up in custom tailored suits and turtlenecks and really far out like designed button-up shirts and things. And I think that, you know, I've definitely relaxed a bit. I wouldn't really consider myself a mod so much anymore, but I think I do consider myself a little bit fashion conscious. I think that's why I enjoy Taylor's show, who comes on before me, $1 Million Closet. I enjoy her show. She's a very fashionable individual. And I think that's it's a cool thing, you know. And so anyone listening out there, don't be embarrassed to wear what you want to wear. Half the time I come up here wearing the paisley shirts and things, and those haven't been in style for 30 years. But anyway, so yeah, but that's a great record. I think it's unfair that The Who kind of have this like reputation. This is like this arena rock band like Led Zeppelin or something, and that's what they come down to. There's a lot of really great articulate pop songs in that early period, and rock and roll songs like that one I just played. But anyway, real quick, before we move on with the program, I have another word from our sponsors.
Let's get ready to rumble! It's the second season of Rebel Rumble, and you can catch us live, Ashton, Evan, and Kennedy, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Tune in.
Yeah, that's a good show there. Really fun show to listen to. Things get rowdy and heated on that one. So yeah, check that out when you get the chance. But anyway, continuing on with the program, if you were just now tuning in, this is DJ Mike with Take Me to the Other Side. This is a part of the program where I hopefully reach someone who's listening who is in a local band or whatever, or a smaller band. But yeah, if you have any music that you want played on the radio, feel free to message me with the Instagram account for this page, or this the show, called Take Me to the Other Side 92.1, all one word, all lowercase, on Instagram. If you can't find that, I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. But yeah, if you're listening out there, feel free to send me any tracks that your project is working on. I'd love to check it out and try to support or play on the radio program. And for anyone else who's just casually listening, you're listening to 92.1 WUMS Rebel Radio. This next track I'm about to play is a track by one of my favorite bands who I actually got to see live in Memphis, Tennessee, Tav Falco and the Panther Burns. And this is a track, I thought for the longest time this was a cover by them. I didn't know from who, it was just some lounge cover or something. Until I bought a CD with this the album that this comes off of, called Shadow Dancer. And I found out Tav Falco himself wrote it. And I was like, this just sounds so familiar. So if you can pull any connections of what this may sound like, please message me, because I'm pretty sure I've heard it before. But I do love this song. This is a track called Love's Last Warning by Tav Falco and the Panther Burns.
Now that my baby and I are through, I need all the loving I can get from you. You know I've got no one but myself to blame, and you know that's the reason why I came. See, I'm in shaky condition, but here I am. On my head will you lay your gentle hand? The sound of her laughter, the warmth of her kiss, the sparkle in her eyes, I will always miss. Now that's all for someone else to enjoy, and I feel so small, like a joker's toy. I hear the rain outside falling. This misery not worth recalling. Let me stay with you until the morning. Make me forget love's last warning. Reckless in love, put her on a pedestal, so far up above. She pulled the rug right out from under my feet in a way that was anything but discreet. I hear the rain outside falling. This misery not worth recalling. Let me stay with you until the morning. Make me forget love's last warning. Let me stay with you until the morning. Make me forget love's last warning.
Was Love's Last Warning by Tav Falco and the Panther Burns off of his album Shadow Dancer. That whole album's actually a very good listen. I'd recommend it. But anyway, it was kind of a funny story though, actually, real quick, because before I do any program, I always make sure that, well, when we have to, because it's an FCC regulated radio station, but you know, you can't have any obscenities, other than the occasional, like, hell or whatever. But I always scan through the lyrics to make sure I didn't, for some reason, miss some ungodly obscenity, and I couldn't find the lyrics to that track online, so I was really happy that I had a CD copy I chanced upon in a record store, so I just checked that, which is kind of funny, the old-fashioned way of looking for the lyrics. It's in the CD booklet. But anyway, this is a track by another band from America. If I don't know if I clarified, but Panther Burns from Memphis. I don't remember where the Feelies are from. They may be from New York or whatever. But this is a band called the Feelies from America, and this is a track that they did called Let's Go. was the Feelies. And yeah, we're closing upon the end of the program. I only have one song left. I just want to take one more opportunity to say that any local bands or underground bands listening right now, you want your music played on the radio, please feel free to hit me up, DJ Mike. Instagram handle is Take Me to the Other Side, all one word, 92.1. Yeah, all together. But this last song I'm going to play before signing out, this is a track by a band that I've championed many, many times called the Brian Jonestown Massacre. And this track is really special because I found out recently, actually, it became a little bit popular because it was used as the theme music for a TV program called Boardwalk Empire. This is a track called Straight Up and Down, released off their 1996 album Take It From the Man, my personal favorite by them, a very Rolling Stones R&B type record. Sounds like it came from 1965 when it's actually from 1996. But this is a track called Straight Up and Down, the Brian Jonestown Massacre. that was Straight Up and Down by the Brian Jonestown Massacre. And that's all for today's show. Thank you all for tuning in. And this was DJ Mike with Take Me to the Other Side. Thank you for joining me to the other side. You have a great rest of your week. And if you did like what you hear, tune in next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Time. You have a great rest of your day.